Hello everybody, this is me, Amin.
This is Alex.
And welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About. And in this episode, we're going to talk about the latest EV that's been launched in the country. No, it's not the Tesla. It is only Thursday, 6th of July. And this car was launched yesterday, the 5th of July, 2023. And we're talking about the Kia Niro EV6. Okay, so why are we talking...
EV6?
Okay, sorry. Not... Okay, it's the Kia Niro EV. All right, so why are we talking about the Kia Niro EV? Number one, it is when we got wind of the car coming to Malaysia, it's going to be launched in Malaysia. We kind of expected it to be priced competitively, maybe around 200,000 and below mark. So that makes it a very enticing purchase for EV buyers, EV or people who want to buy EVs. I mean, Alex and I, we drive the Kia EV6. And I think Kia makes really good EVs. We tried the Kia Kona EV.
Hyundai Kona.
Hyundai, sorry. Okay, Hyundai and Kia is the same company. Anyway, Hyundai and Kia, they make good EVs. So we were excited about the Niro EV because, hey, you're going to get a really good package, really good quality car at a really good price. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the Niro, talk about the price, what you get for the spec, and then we're going to talk about the cars that you can get for around the same price, and then we're going to close up by deciding on whether we're going to get the Niro or something else. All right, Alex, break it down. What is in the Kia Niro EV?
So the Kia Niro, like you mentioned, is basically like a compact SUV. It's quite similar to the Hyundai Kona, but except that the Niro is slightly bigger. It has a longer wheelbase. It's more spacious. Unlike the Kona, which we reviewed recently, I think last year, that the rear room is quite rubbish. It's a small boot, but this has a sizable rear space as well as a boot. And it comes with a single motor powering the front wheels, which is quite typical for compact SUVs. It can produce 150 kilowatts. That's 201 horsepower. Similar power output as the Kona Electric E-Max.
Wow.
Similar to the BYD Atto 3. So 200 horsepower from the motor. And it can do 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 7.8 seconds with a top speed of 167 kilometers per hour. And it comes with quite a sizable battery, about 65 kilowatt hour, and you can get up to 460 kilometers of driving range on a single charge.
Wow.
And so in terms of charging, well, like most EVs in the market, you can support 11 kilowatt AC. It can support DC fast charging up to 80 kilowatts. Not the fastest, but it's pretty decent. And the price, 256,668 ringgit.
Woo!
That's a lot. That's way off our estimation, because when we see the Kona, right, we thought, okay, maybe it's going to be slightly more expensive than the Kona, because the Kona Electric E-Max is about 200,000 ringgit.
Okay.
So we thought, okay, maybe it's 220, the most maybe 230, but man, 256,000 ringgit, that's touching a whole different level altogether.
Yeah, that opens you up to a higher class of EV.
They are bigger, with more tech, and then more prestige, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So is there only one variant of the Kia Niro in Malaysia? But is there like an all-wheel drive variant of the Kia Niro EV?
Nope. So this is like similar to the Hyundai Kona. So it's only single motor powering the front wheels.
Okay, so let's take the price out of the equation and let's look at the Kia Niro as a car by itself. Spec-wise, I think it's a competent Ford-ish. Okay, I don't want to say price, but it's a competent EV.
Yes, it takes all the right boxes. Addressing
a particular segment. We're talking about non-all-wheel drive. It's front-wheel driven. Range is about close to 500 kilometers because of the front-wheel drive. And power is about 200 plus because it's front engine pula. It's front motor. So the front motor of the Kia range and the Hyundai range of cars are smaller, so the power output is not more. So if you do get a rear wheel drive variant, maybe the power output is more. But I feel like Kia has designed the Niro to fit a segment, a price segment. Unfortunately, the pricing in Malaysia at close to 256,000 ringgit puts it out of the segment that it was designed to be in.
Yep.
We talked about like the car brings in a lot of technology from the EV6.
Yes.
I noticed the seats are the same, the front seats.
Yep.
And okay, so and it has that kind of like the dashboard is double digital, but the screen is not as big as the EV6. I think it's close.
Actually, it's similar. Actually, both they also has two 10.25-inch displays, very similar to EV6.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
But it looks smaller though in pictures. I mean, I'm seeing it
Yep.
in pictures that Chapri took.
Yep. So because I
It
think
looks smaller.
I think it's because of the thick bezels.
The
that's why.
binnacle is bigger.
Yeah, And then unlike the EV6 where you have two screens like side by side aligned properly, this one, right, the center display is actually like a position a bit lower. So it looks a bit different. So you at first look at it, why it looks like smaller, but actually it's the same size, 10.25-inch. And also it also, like you mentioned, like it shares a lot of components from the EV6. Like for example, the aircon controls. So you have this single strip that you can toggle between aircon and media controls.
Yep.
And you also have the rotary gear selector at the center area.
And then I mean, okay, like you said, right? It ticks all the boxes. So is there anything to complain? Okay, let's take price out of the equation. Is there anything to complain about the EV6? How big is
EV6?
The Kia Niro EV?
Yep.
How big is the boot?
I think it's around 300 plus liters, which is pretty decent because it's a compact SUV. You expect in this kind of type price range. The only thing I want to complain is probably, I'm not sure whether I can say it's complaint because it's executed much better than the rest, because the charging port for the Niro is in the front, but at least it's in the center.
Yes.
And the way they design it looks like it's part of the design. Unlike the Kona, where the cover, right, is like off center. It's like you tell the whole world, okay, this is like an afterthought. I just I need to put the charging port somewhere. Okay, here you go. It's a random spot.
Because the Kia logo is in the way. Hyundai logo is in the way.
But Hyundai logo, the logo is on the top. So I don't know why they can't make it in the center. Yeah.
Okay, it's because of packaging, I think.
Yes.
Okay, so the other things that we like about this is it comes with V2L.
Yes, V2L.
And it's a proper V2L. It's not the BYD execution of a V2L.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, V2L is basically your car essentially can power up home appliances. So similar to what you get from the Hyundai Ioniq 5, also the Kia EV6, they come with this like a dongle or adapter where you plug to the charging port, the CCS2 port, and at the other end you get a 3-pin outlet, so you can use that to power home appliances up to 3,600 watts. So that's quite usable. Unlike the BYD, so BYD's execution is they don't give you the dongle. What they give you is like a power strip that's connected to the head.
Yep.
Yeah.
To the CCS adapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that doesn't work. So what I can say is I can vouch that Kia's V2L is better. Does it come with a 3-pin plug like the EV6?
The granny charger?
No, the 3-pin plug. You know, the EV6 has a 3-pin plug in the
back
in the rear seat.
I don't think I noticed that. I don't think it comes with this car.
As a car, I mean, we've driven the Hyundai Kona, the
Hyundai
Ioniq 5, the Kia EV6. So I don't have any problems with Hyundai Kia cars. I think they're competent, they're comfortable. This one has enough power. I think the specs is up there. It has all the safety features.
Yes.
Blind spot assist.
Autonomous emergency braking, also the smart cruise control with stop and go traffic. So it has that. Of course, the only thing that's missing is the I forgot the name. Basically, the blind spot feed. So
the camera.
The cameras, they don't have that.
Yeah. So the blind spot assistance, when you turn on the signal, the camera will turn on the dashboard, and you can use the camera to see behind you. But I mean, I like the feature, but it's not something that you would miss if you haven't tried it before. So it's not really a big deal. In fact, the competitors don't have this.
Yes.
So spec-wise, it is a mixed bag, I think. But generally, slightly better than its closest competitor without considering the price, which I think is the BYD Auto. BYD Auto.
Auto 3.
Yes, Auto 3. Now, let's talk about the price. 256,000. I think the whole of Malaysia agrees that it is too expensive.
Yes,
it is too expensive because it puts this Kia again. I'm disclaimer here. I think Kias are a really good car, except for this car.
Yes, I must agree.
So it puts this car in another range altogether. So we talked about the BYD Atto 3, which is the closest comparison in terms of specifications
Size,
and size, and the what Kia, the manufacturer, has designed the car to be. It is a mid-range mini SUV to be priced mid-rangely. So it should be around 180, maybe 190 if you want to be premium over BYD, because BYD is an unknown brand.
Yeah.
Putting it at 256,000 ringgit puts the Kia Niro EV closer to, wait for it, BMW,
Yep.
Volvo, and even the Hyundai.
Yeah. Also, it also quite close to the bigger brother EV6, since you're going to spend that much money already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 256,000 ringgit is a lot of money for a car. And by the looks of what I can see in the Kia Niro EV, it kind of like doesn't match that price. A lot of people who are going there and they look at it and they're like, yeah, I like this car. And when they start asking the salesman, hey, this is, I want to buy this car, how much is it going to cost? It's going to cost 256,000 ringgit. It comes with what? 5-year warranty?
Yes, 5-year warranty, battery 8 years. And touching back the price again, right? Let's say you ask the salesman, okay, what this car had over 256K, and you go like, wait a minute, you can get pretty much the same thing for 100,000 ringgit less with the BYD Atto 3.
Yes.
Because the BYD Atto 3 is very competent. It also has it's a smaller battery, 60 kilowatt hour. The range is slightly smaller, 420 kilometers. But you also has the same power output, 201 horsepower, can do 160 kilometers per hour. And the BYD Atto 3 is slightly quicker, 7.3 seconds. And of course, in terms of size, they're actually identical in terms of wheelbase. Both of the BYD Atto 3 and the Kia Niro EV have a wheelbase of 2.7 meters. In terms of length, the BYD Atto 3 is slightly longer by just a few millimeters. So they're very similar. So I think if you look at spec per spec, right, it's like, wait a minute, I can save 100K and get a BYD Atto 3.
Yep. And I think those who are marketing the Kia, or the people that made the decision to price the Niro at such a high price, they're maybe banking like, okay, people rather buy a Kia than a BYD because BYD is unknown.
It's getting very common also. You want to stand out.
Yeah, maybe that's okay. So maybe that, and I wanted to get to that, right? So the BYD is getting very common. But the counterpoint to that is, if they are thinking that, okay, I'd rather buy a Kia because it's more well known than a BYD, it's more established as a brand than BYD. The counterpoint to that is people don't mind buying BYD because it's a very competent electric vehicle at a very good price. In fact, BYD has already pushed out over 1,000 Atto 3s.
Yep.
So that's testament to the capability of people, of the marketeers and the salespeople selling the car, and the brand itself in terms of pushing the brand. And people don't mind trying a new brand at all.
Yeah, and also if you look at the context of competing against the ICE equivalents, like for example the BYD Atto 3, I think they are stealing customers away from
Honda
CR-V, the Mazda CX-5. And if you look at the Kia Niro EV, right, 256,000, that's more expensive than a Sorento or a Carnival.
Yeah.
It's more expensive than the larger ICE equivalent.
Yes,
hello.
I'd rather get a Carnival than
or Sorento if you want SUV, right?
I mean, if you don't need so many seats. Okay, let's go down spec for spec, right? So it puts this car is very close to, for example, the iX1.
Yes.
About 280K?
270K without the extra warranty. Yeah, 270 plus K.
270. You get all-wheel drive.
Yes.
More power. There's no V2L.
Yeah.
And more importantly, you get the BMW badge.
Yeah.
A higher top speed, 180 kilometers, I think. Okay, and then and I have to say that is my favorite small SUV EV. And that's under 300,000 ringgit. I think it's good. It's competent. It's even better than the iX3. And then closer to that is we have the Volvo C40 and the XC40. These two very similar cars. One is a coupe and one is not. About 250, 160, 270,000.
270, 280.
Now, I guess we go to the last segment of the show. Which one would you get? And the Volvo is the most powerful for this price segment. You can get 0 to 100 in what?
4.6, 4.7, yes.
Yeah, it's crazy fast.
Yeah.
Top speed is about 180, still faster than the Niro. And again, prestige, right? It's a Volvo.
And also, I want to mention one more honorable mention. for the same price, or actually even less than the Kia Niro, you can get a much bigger EV, the Hyundai Ioniq 5 Plus. That's for the Plus. So basically, Plus is the mid spec model, because the Ioniq 5 Max, the all drive version, that's priced at 270,000 ringgit, very similar to the iX1. But you want to save money, you don't need that much of a range. The Ioniq 5 Plus costs 238,000 ringgit. Cheaper. It's about 20k cheaper than the Kia Niro EV, and it's a much bigger car. It has a wheelbase of 3 meters, and of course the motor is not as powerful. It's about 168 horsepower. You get about 384 kilometers of range, which I think is more than enough for most people.
And it's a huge car.
It's a huge car,
and it looks good.
Yeah, so you want the most EV for your money in terms of the size. The Ioniq 5 Plus is much better buy than the Kia Niro EV.
And like you mentioned, right? So for 270k, you get the Max, which has all drive, more power, all the bells and whistles. So I don't know, man.
It's very hard to justify the Kia Niro EV.
All right, so I think we're gonna have a very short end segment. Now we've mentioned all the cars. We have the new one, the Kia Niro EV, 256,000 ringgit. If you had that much money to spend, which one would you get?
256,000 ringgit.
250. Okay, 250 to 280. Which one would you get? Okay. Before that, I want to put a disclaimer. So a lot of people say, okay, 30k for a car. So this is 260. The highest we can get in this segment is 280, which is the BMW and maybe the Volvo C40, 280,000. So that's 20,000 ringgit difference. Yes, if you're going to pay 20,000 upfront in cash, that's a lot of money. But if you're going to spread it across 5 years, 7 years, 9 years, over the installment of the car, it doesn't add up to that much.
Since you're in this range, right, a little bit more doesn't hurt much.
I mean, considering, right? So, Kia Niro EV, 260,000 ringgit. Let me just list down the cars. So please help me if I forget them. So we have the Kia Niro EV for 256,000 ringgit. Closest rival is the Hyundai Ioniq 5 Plus at 238,000 ringgit. You also have the Hyundai Ioniq 5 Max at 270,000 ringgit. iX1, 280,000 ringgit. C40, 280,000 ringgit. XC40, 270,000 ringgit. So if you had to spend your money, which one would you get?
I'll go for the Hyundai Ioniq 5 Max.
Why?
Not only that you get more space, but you also have the 800-volt architecture, which lets you charge super fast. When connect to a 350 kilowatt charger, or even the Camp Power charger at Times Square, you can get like from 10 to 80% in just 18 minutes.
The 800-volt architecture is a super premium feature that you only get in premium cars. And the EV6 and the Hyundai Ioniq 5 range is probably the cheapest car you can get with that architecture.
Yes, because other than that is the Porsche Taycan and the Audi e-tron.
The Lotus.
And Lotus as well.
Yes. And only these cars have the 800 volt. And it's important because you can charge your car super fast. And it makes a difference when you're traveling long distance.
Yep.
So the Ioniq 5 is pretty close, but I don't know. For me, the looks of the Ioniq 5, it looks good now, but I'm seeing a lot of it, and I don't think the Ioniq 5 will age well over time. It's kind of...
It's cool for now, but like 10 years from now, how will it look cool?
Yeah, or even 5 years from now, right? I think I mentioned it before. So the C40, XC40, driven both of them. I think they're really good EV cars. Super fast, super good. As a car, they're easy to drive. There's no start button, just get in, put it into drive, it's ready to go.
And then it's the right size, not too big.
Not too big, not too small. But okay, you mentioned size. That's where I think the Achilles heel for the Volvo range of EVs right now is. I think it's a bit too small.
Yep.
If
you get 400 horsepower. The most powerful cars, I think you get for under 300k.
400k. Yes, you're right. But I don't use the power that much, and the power has like a limit when you go to a certain point in the battery. So when you hit 20% battery capacity, the power tapers down a bit.
They got FVP.
Yeah. So, and then we didn't mention about sunroof, right? So the C40 has a huge panoramic sunroof.
Oh yes,
but it doesn't have a cover.
Yeah.
In fact, we talked about this before the show, right? So the BYD Auto has a bigger sunroof, and it's cheaper.
Yes.
And it has cover.
Yes.
Then the Niro EV has sunroof, but only for the front
Yeah,
passenger.
like a standard sunroof, the cutout. Yeah.
Yeah. So to answer my question, which one should I get? Which one will I get for 180,000 ringgit? I would go for the BMW iX1 because it's a BMW. It looks good.
Yep.
Has all the power, all-wheel drive. But then again, right? Ayo.
When
You mentioned
yes,
when you mentioned 800 volt, I'm like
yes, that's exactly my pain point because and I think we've seen some reviews overseas, right? The charging is a bit slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, because apparently the actual battery architecture is not just 400 volts, like 350, 370. So you cannot sustain the maximum charge for long, as long as the other cars. But
Okay.
if you charge at home daily, it's not a big deal. It's only when you travel long distance.
But you need it. You need it.
1% of the time.
But you need it. No, because the thing is, you need it when you need it.
Yes.
And you don't know that you need it.
Yeah.
And like BYD, for example, I know a lot of people talk about BYD. Yeah, as a long ranger, it doesn't charge that fast. You have to wait like half an hour.
Yeah, the BYD, I think the issue with BYD is the charging. Not just that, the AC charging, right, is only single phase 7 kilowatt. So if you want to get 7 kilowatt, you need to find AC charger that is 22 kilowatt. Because you find 11 kilowatt, because of how they split, right, you only can get like 3.7 kilowatt. So the issue with BYD is the charging. It's slower than the rest.
Yeah, it's slower. And
Yeah.
and at what, 7 kilowatts, that easily is going to double your charging time.
Yeah.
So let's say if for my car EV6, if it's down to 10% and I need to charge it to 90% on AC, I gotta wait about 5 hours, 6 hours.
Yep.
On BYD, okay, so battery size and everything, but on BYD, it's probably gonna hit 7, 8, maybe 10 hours.
Yep.
So that's just too long.
Yeah, let's say for example, my charging habits, because I don't have a wallbox charger at home, I normally charge outside. So normally once or twice a week, I just charge like 2-3 hours at the mall, and I'm good to go. So if I get a BYD Atto 3, 3 hours might not be enough to charge the car.
Yeah, not gonna be
Sufficient
enough.
range.
Yeah.
So you need to have a wallbox charger for the BYD Atto 3.
Okay, actually, I want to go back. We discussed previously before the show. Talk about prices, right? So the closest competitor to this is BYD Atto 3. It is 100K difference,
Yes.
and we talked about loans just now, right? So what difference does it make to top up 20K over 5, 6, 7 years, 9 years, or whatever it is, right? So not a lot. But if you're looking at BYD Atto 3 and you're looking at a compact SUV EV, so the BYD Atto 3 is about
168,000 ringgit.
Okay, less than 170.
Yes.
Then the next car that's available, that's the next car that is spec'd similarly to the BYD Atto 3 is the Kia Niro EV, and its price is 256,000 ringgit.
Yeah.
So spread 100,000 ringgit across 5, 6, 7 years. You're gonna feel it.
Yes.
You're gonna feel that.
If you put in context with 100,000 ringgit extra, right? You can use it to buy another car. You can buy a Vios or Honda City.
Or you can buy 2 cars. You can buy 2 Asias.
2 Asias. or maybe another 5 Asia East. Or a Neta V. Okay, no, please don't buy Neta V.
don't buy it. Okay, the Neta V is 100K EV. That's probably that is the cheapest EV you can get. But because it's cheap, don't get it.
Yeah, because it's just not worth it. Or 100K, save, put in a bank and then earn some money. Or put in EPF and earn extra dividends, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, save that money. Because to be honest, right, the BYD Atto 3 is just unbeatable for its value for money.
Yeah, it is. I agree. Okay, I guess it's time to wrap up. All right, we are more than happy to answer any questions that you have with regards to EVs, or any question. Because I think we're gonna start a new show. We're gonna start a show about EVs and answering questions that you have about EVs, whether it's a beginner question or a pro question or whatever. So we need help. We need those questions coming in, and we're more than happy to answer them in our next show, in our upcoming new show. Now back to this show. Kia Niro EV6, overpriced, yes or no? Yes, definitely. Is it a good car? It is, but nope, not for the price.
Yes.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you're also listening to us on podcast, you can also drop us a voice note if you want to. And by the way, we are on podcast, so you can look for us on Spotify, We are available as Let's Talk About Sorry Chinchao. Just search for us there and we're there. If you're listening to us on podcast, do give us a 5-star rating because that helps the show a lot. And if you're watching us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up if you like the show, if it's been helpful, informative for you. Drop us a comments, questions, suggestions, questions about EV especially, because we're going to start a new show just to answer questions about EV. And if you're listening to us on podcast, you can also drop us a voice note at
Let's Talk About at soyachincha.com.
Yep. And that's pretty much it. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Give us a like. I mentioned that already. Okay, and that's pretty much it. This is me, Amin.
And this is Alex.
Catch you guys later.
Bye.